I promised myself I'm not gonna cry this time, but I cry every time. Hey there, imaginary friends. Like I was telling you before, I should first ask questions later, and I asked that question and you just heard the answer. I'm gonna spare you the explaining and complaining, mostly. Just know that I'm winging it. Scuff streams forever. Yeah, while I'm at it, there are pets for gold inside there in that pet shop too. Old Dalaran and new. I mean, while we're at it, bunch of free pets that I talked about already in Dalaran, including for the new people that pet, that candle pet that you need to emote for, and that you need to gather those pages for that arcane pet and toy. Something already talked about, so I'm not gonna talk about it again, though this will be another homage du collage du fromage. The shop is a bit further down. Yeah. Fuck, I forgot to do something. Hopefully, maybe, yeah, turn down the sound. Usually I wouldn't notice those copyright claims, but the previous one was pretty, I don't know, out there in my face. I thought it was because, the some, let's say, adult themes, but no. And I was surprised because, it says usually, your content is blocked in some countries. But when I looked into it, it's, I guess that scratch and that movie intro and 2 times the funkiest, maybe they'll copyright this too, was enough for it to be claimed, and not that I mind or care. And I mean, I don't have that many views anyway, so in off chance that there are some potential Russian viewers, простите, извините, I don't know what to say. That one, I mean, I'm not saying anything of any importance or in any of the videos, but that one is blocked there. I'm guessing because of the recent events. I mean, yeah, relatively. Not gonna go into that, though I doubt that they will be able to catch and force draft people that got away, but something to keep in mind if you are one of those. But like I said, my range is quite low, so I doubt that anyone will find that advice useful. Okay, that's was quite enough for me to totally lose any idea of what I'm gonna talk about today. I had okay, maybe not. First of all, as for the recent event, I don't know if it's still on. I don't know if they will ever get to, or they have give me the option to resize the calendar and clock. I saw some new options, but I didn't check them yet. I mean, for the options, escape options. Yeah, one of the reasons I stayed here, I wanted to go to some other place. Hopefully I will remember where and why. Spoilers, it's Silver Moon. Again. So those new tablets, they look nice. Time walking. Before I start rambling again. Time walking. Do we make that a surprise? Yeah, fuck it. Okay, so before time walking, the event, what I meant was, I saw on forum that someone more, I don't know the term, inquisitive or expeditious or agile, so that we as free-to-plays can get something out of that exploring event from those 2 achievements. So good gain there. Haven't got around to it yet, and not really sure if it's doable 100% or not. I mean, for the cap, not that into it. There is a poet here that for quite a while, relatively recently, was wearing the whole set. I guess that's what happens when you got hooked on something at the early age, and give it a lot more significance than other people. I mean, being dressed like Sherlock Holmes, I don't know how appealing that is to others, but he loved it, so good for him. That torch, on the other hand, is something that I will gladly use. And now we'll go into game for a little while.
This curse has not broken me yet.
Why did I stay here? You will find out soon enough.
Feel free to browse.
I don't know how widely known this is, but as you can see, we can properly talk to time walking vendors again. I didn't really expect to have any more of free-to-play stuff to talk about anymore, but here we are. So we'll stay here for a little while more. If it starts getting too loud, we'll move. But okay, let's talk about the proper thing first. So it's nice to have the option again, and I guess how useful this is for you depends on you. I used to go into all the research, but I don't know, I just lost it and I'm out of it for a long time now. During the recent summer events I barely played any games, which is something I might talk about if we get the chance later on. Usually I would like to have some idea of what I am gonna talk, but this just happened and I had the opportunity to stream, so here we are. So, I mean, if you're gonna do the research, I used to obsess about things, but fortunately I'm out of it. So what's my point? 5k for a mount seems for a free-to-play a bit much. Even the toys, I was planning on getting some, and some I did get. But maybe there's one I might get. Not sure. I mean, first we need to see if other vendors will behave the same. I think it's time to move. So you have potential Morg, gear is not that good. You know, I doubt that's so very important. So toys and commendations, and this over here. And now we will move for a little bit at least. Have some peace and quiet. A loud noise outside distracting me. So what's my point? I mean, you know, doing this for, I mean, I already said it there, you know, for transmog, not really, who knows, not really, maybe I'm gonna check, I don't know, didn't so far. So toys, maybe one. Now, I used to do this for the tablets, but that was before they were transmogable, and I think I pretty much have all the that I like. Okay. Yeah, all the good ones from the Cataclysm and I don't know now if and that's why I like making videos right away, streams, because I totally forgot anything about that Law Walker's reputation. So whether it will be possible now to do it as a free-to-play, I have no clue. I know there's a exact math how much big of a percentage you need to have to make it possible, but I did it there and forgot. So that's on to you. I'm not gonna recommend my own video stream. My point here is, where is the fucking, yeah, Orgrimmar tablet and Orgrimmar tablet. Find 10 differences. Spoilers, it's the same tablet. My point here is, yeah, we can move away from here.
What are we without the sky?
I pretty much have, you know, I don't know how hard the reputations are to grind. I mean, if you are a low level, I mean, free to play, maybe, and you know, maybe there will be some free time for free to plays as well. I don't know how, I didn't do the math, but maybe, and I don't know what reputations you can farm or not, and what really would you like from the time walking vendor, if anything. But maybe, I don't know, you can focus on one faction, that tabard you really want. Other than that, I mean, it's nice, I like that it's there, but I mean, now you know as well, so whether you wanna do something with it, that's up to you. Like I said, you know, the gear, the mog, the mount, the toys. Like I said, I used to do it for the Wrath of the Lich King and Cataclysm tabards, but I got the ones I really wanted, and I don't know if there are something else that I cannot grind on my free to play or main that I would like to invest my, and you know, they are account bound. Yeah, I think the reputation, yeah, they are account bound, so who knows if that can change or not. Though when there was that other event, I thought you yeah, Darkmoon Fair is, today is the last day, so if you wanna take advantage of that. And before I move on, yeah, because of the Darkmoon Fair, that reputation event, when it was going on, I saved the Darkmoon buff on a toon and then log on onto it, on the one that I wanted to do the. So I pretty much knew about the reputation buff that's gonna happen, and wanted to add the Darkmoon Fair Plus, but it didn't happen. But then later, when I applied Darkmoon Fair buff on top of it, it worked. Now I don't know if that's connected with the fact that the buff I had was that hat buff. Did that one pass? Did the other regular Darkmoon Fair buff stack because it was from the carousel? I don't know, but I thought that the buff wouldn't stack, but it did, and the only difference was that I was trying to save the head buff, and later on I got, after the event buff, I got also the carousel buff. Of course, when I say event buff, I meant that leveling reputation buff before the patch or something. And now, as you have probably noticed, we are back at having those time walking buffs, and yeah, there have been some other changes, nice changes, but I forgot, and you know, good things are there to be ignored, and you complain about the bad stuff. But I know there were some nice stuff that happened, some nice changes. We'll see what happens. I don't really expect that much anymore, but we'll see what's gonna happen. So that's one toy I got. Okay, Silver Moon, here we come. Silver Moon or bust. And yeah, before I forget the other toy, I think I only got 2 toys for the badges. Rest I mean, I started making plans and then they removed the option to talk to vendors, except for some. I will not mention those because if this is not intended, I don't want to ruin it, but probably if was to be changed, they would probably get them all this time. Yeah, Verdant. Throwing spear. Ah, yeah, I need. Do I need a target? I think my stream starts having issues when I go from zone to zone. That's why I wanted to avoid it, but we're gonna listen to some music now. I'm off to show you a visit that's not behind those curtains. We're gonna roleplay as Forrest Gump for a little bit. Run, Forrest, run. Of course I didn't mean that. Druid next to a mailbox. Disenchanting. Have you ever seen such a glorious sight? What else could I talk about? Yeah, I'll check. I don't know how long my streaming so far. Bunch of stuff. I pretty much wasn't streaming for a while and wanted to get out some stuff. I mean, soon enough, and to get it out of my mind so I can focus on other things. So I guess that's the free-to-play stuff. Now let's continue on some more general content. Let's just pick which one. When I said homage du collage, I have to do it right. Yeah, and representation. Do I ruin it? When I said representation, for example, there, I hope I will not ruin this. Where is he? He will most probably... Yeah, there are 2 NPCs. I don't wanna show you that one right now. Where is fucking Vranesh? there's some, I don't know, he'll come in the picture later on. He patrols these streets. Vranesh is a last name. I'm not sure if it's founded in Lika region, but that was a lot of I mean, like other regions, people would go to army, and being that he's some higher ranking guy and having that name, is it a coincidence? Is it on purpose? I don't know. I mean, a lot of those guys used to emigrate to United States as well and other places. I mean, a bit of I don't really can say in my country, but close enough. Have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just stalling here. Don't know if I should have went there, but doesn't matter. So yeah, let's end it there. There's some other stuff I could throw out there, but doesn't matter. And one of those stuff could lead to me doxing myself. I just remember that. So the other NPC, you have probably noticed it in the background, was added, I think, in Shadowlands. I was here the other day and noticed it. Okay, let's hope we don't. Okay, good. I thought we can hear the spell sound, but not, so we can stay here for the rest of the stream. So yeah, so that's another. I mean, it kind of brings the. It's a nice. I mean, one of the most beautiful towns in the game, and it's a nice park, and some added stuff. Now let's if I'll check for Vranesh later on. Let's now check the text document. Yeah, in the last stream I mentioned Solaris. The Russian version of the movie is on YouTube, interestingly and nicely, if you're into that stuff. And I'm not aware that it's represented that much, but since it's kind of a all virtual reality kind of thing, I'm surprised it's not more represented. And one of the things I started talking in one of the previous streams was I talked about it long ago, like many things, but it seems that I need to go into it a bit more again. Oh yeah. Good thing that I wrote some notes. Let's first check okay, stream is not doing. Oh damn, half an hour. Okay, hopefully, okay. I did that intro because it kinda gives you that, new MMO kinda feel, kinda expectations. But I doubt that I will be able to talk about it now. So maybe in the next stream. So, as you know, maybe it's good that I stream today. The basketball finals are tomorrow. And that's something, first of all, this is just, speculation and talking in general. I'm not really saying one thing or another, but something that came to mind. And I'm afraid I will name drop here. As you know, there is I feel bad mentioning people, but I don't wanna say something that he said and not mention his name. I'm talking about Zero here. The proper pronunciation should be PS Hero, but I like, some to weird flex and say Zero. I think that should be the way to be pronounced. He a while back mentioned that he gets paid as a Bulgarian streamer. So on one hand, that makes sense, but on other hand, it doesn't, because most of his viewers are from, the, let's say, other countries. What I'm talking about here is, some viewers are more equal than the others. So, and that's something that's normal and understandable. Advertising has its own math and logic, but then that logic doesn't apply there, because by that logic he should be paid as, a bit more, let's say, because his audience is not connected to his, that's probably, you can see it, I cannot. Fuck, let's go into game. Champion Ranish. Okay, so we caught him. Usually there's a dialogue with him, but I guess we weren't close enough. Okay, let's talk about that for a little while. Maybe get to say something about something. So what's my point there? My point is your geolocation matters for various reasons. Of course it does. And that's normal. Makes sense. But for example, I'm not saying this because of the recent events, but there were talks here, I don't know how founded they were, that Slovenia had some referee decisions against them. I guess they were playing against Canada or something. So whether that is true or not, I don't know, I didn't watch the game. But that sparked some talks from before. Not in general, but that reminded me of some talks from before and some events from before. Mostly I got PTSD from the game Serbia versus Switzerland in football, I don't know, some years ago, when Mitrovic was literally being held by two players as if it was American football game. He was held literally around his waist and by two players, and with the new technology nothing was called. Now for you non-football fans out there, it's important to note here that the president of FIFA is Swiss. Just a funny little kidding. And then there was talk that that same referee, German, was also had a similar thing going on against some other country. I'm not sure, maybe it's Ireland, and also robbed them. So a professional of sorts. Now I had I knew a guy that was training handball, and then became a handball referee. And what he said is, you do some big, that there are different kind of referees, but what he said is, I'm not gonna embarrass myself for some little stuff, but if at some point they offer me something big for something big, I would do it. So those are the harsh realities. Now you're wondering, what the fuck is he talking about and why? And because I didn't think this through, I hope I will also be able to understand that. My point is that it's of course from the ad revenue perspective better if two bigger countries with the bigger and stronger economies are playing the finals. Of course it is. So some decisions, some slight and seesaw borderline decisions might be influenced by that, have been and will be. And and money will of course play a role when it comes to things. Now I understand the interest of the people that have the interest in those regards. Now I may okay, in my mind this all made a lot more sense, so maybe I forgot something, but what's my point? I understand, I guess there is a point view wise, and I mean this applies on Twitch too. Okay, I guess I connected the dots a bit more than I should have. Doesn't matter, let's wing it like this. Have you seen the other day that protest on TV, and that guy going in front and saying, us rich people need to unite against those riffraff? You didn't? Of course you didn't. That's because that stuff doesn't happen. Not like that. It does happen behind the closed doors or in a smaller circle of people, but not like that, for the simple reason is that there are a lot more medium to low income people, and People that find tend not to complain that much, or they do, but for other reasons and purposes. I guess this is one of the reasons I wanted to get this out, so I can make more sense perhaps some other time. What I'm talking about here, I saw the other day that some AMD video where they on the stage are talking about some new changes and how they're gonna affect all the users. Some fluid frames per second. Don't know what's going on there, but what he said on stage was that the best rigs are owned by 2% of people, and I think there was those memes about, is it Todd Howard and what is it, Starfield? Now of course the memes were not about the quality of the, I guess I could call it two ways. If it's called computer, you can call it, for the low end rigs, QQter, and for the higher end rigs, PewPewter. So that was just an excuse, get a better computer. I guess it was the game, not the computers. Not sure, but probably. So what is my point there? I guess one of the things that triggered me about the viewers and stuff is usually I talk, like I said, I should first ask questions later. I talk about stuff that I picked up along the way and didn't really check anything. Recently especially. So I thought it was 1 hour already, but I guess not. I wanted to check some stuff. First of all, I guess we will talk about MMOs a bit. I saw that they slightly made the space between Taris and land, which was nice. Means they pay attention to things, to stuff. And the other thing is, I wanted to check the Wayfinder on Twitch, and when I did, I was pleasantly surprised. There was something like 15k or 14k viewers, and I went into the category and it was one guy, and it was earlier in the day and it was non-English stream, so I assume it was some South American streamer. They grow them big with 15 or 14k views, and rest of the streams were, I don't know, couple of hundred. So I mean, it looks nice. They, of course, I heard last time they're trying to make it more, tunes more unique and differentiate it a bit, and maybe at some point add PvP. But because I will not have time to talk about MMOs now, we'll see. Oh, yeah, I'm in pain as well. You're not the only one. What my point is, I already talked about. If MMOs and other video games get some money on the side from the hardware people, then I understand. But like I said, I checked the stream and the views were low now. I'm not a PvEer, so I don't know what the solution there is. I usually talk about I talk about stuff in general, stuff that I am interested in, that I think about, and things that just came to mind or I'm subjected to it. Usually they say, what's it to you, and I agree. But on the other hand, if something is out there and it's in your face, then of course you are affected by it and you react. You defend yourself, of course. Right to self-defense. So what I'm saying is, you want your games to be played by a lot of people. You should want that, because you need people in order for your world not to be empty, to attract more people. Like servers, nobody wants to play at that game. Mostly. Maybe you really love it. Maybe there's 20 people are enough to play it. I mean, there are games like that. But in general, for the longevity and stuff, you kinda, I assume, want your game to be played by a lot of people. And setting the bar high is not the way to do it, I would imagine. Now, I'm not talking about this from my personal perspective completely, because I don't matter here. I do not matter at all, but the numbers do matter. And I don't know, you have the data, you have your knowledge, you know what okay, let's first go a bit personal. Like I said, I pretty much stopped playing games for a while. And I remember a former friend of mine at one point, he was the last one with the old computer, so QQter. He said, I'm not gonna buy a new one. There's a ton of old games I haven't played. I'm just gonna play those and, be content. And I didn't believe him for a second, but, I didn't say anything. I said fine. And sure enough, a bit later, he bought a new computer, which I was, of course, quick to notice. I say notice, of course, in the sense of point that out. He, of course, changed the subject. The point is, of course, you'd like to, but like I said, I don't know if I said it, along the way, on the internet and in general, I noticed that a lot of usually I stream when I'm not feeling that well, and it affects my throat. So I have noticed a lot of people that I'm not sure how much this throat is gonna hold. A lot of people that had issues with their hardware, and I really do not understand. I mean, on one hand, when they say something cannot happen, what they really mean is it can, but we are not gonna bother. And I'm having some flashbacks from Overwatch and still having Windows 7. And then they pretty much between the lines saying pretty much between the lines saying on forum, yeah, it's not us, it's I don't know who they said, I don't know, Windows 7 AMD combo, we're not gonna bother. And look now, there's I mean, if you know the price, I mean, it's not that, of course, it's not that, but you know, it's nice to feel high and mighty and on a high horse, but you know, if you know the price and you are willing to pay it, then fine. But if you're just, you know, being, you know, not my job, you know, there might be. I mean, it wasn't it. I said it just, but talking in general, you know, it might, some things might affect some other things later on. I'm not making that much sense, but I hope you got the feel. I really do not know, and of course you want your game to run smooth and look as good as it can, but I would argue that you also want a larger player base and that you want to make it accessible to the as many people as possible. So I maybe didn't word it too good and say it nicely and then think this through, but you get the idea. Okay, let's see if I wrote something down that could be just by new computer lol. I mean, of course, you know, for people that do it, but why would I fucking buy a new computer for a new game? I mean, you can if you want to, but that's up to you. Okay. I mean, maybe there's something else and maybe I could have explained this a bit better, maybe, but that's the point. I'm getting it out, and the less things I have to say, the better I can frame it. You get a picture, and if it's absolutely necessary for some requirements, I mean, RAM is, I think when I first started to play WoW, I also had issues with RAM, and I don't want to go personal here, but I thought I have a better computer than than it turned out to be. I guess I was wrong, and I guess some time has passed. I mean, you just install it, download it. Okay. Did I? Okay, I guess. This has lasted for a long time now. But I don't really feel comfortable just rambled about these two things this whole time. I'll try to, and I don't wanna. I'll see, I'll check the text document and okay, this is too much. Okay, this is politics, I'm not gonna. Okay, who knows? Okay. Okay, I guess I could mention here this. Now this was, you know, as in my mind it's as if it happened a couple of days ago, but it was probably a couple of months ago. There was a YouTube video that showed some, I guess, private server. Wow, private server, of course. And they showed some redone Razor Hill with some new assets. And that kinda okay, I'm checking for other stuff, but I shouldn't. I'll just so that kinda gave me a, you know, a nice good feeling about it. And I'm not for redoing the old zones. I you know, a lot of people didn't like Cataclysm for that reason. But my point is, you don't need to redo the old zones. Make the new zones like the old zones, but better. Reimagine it. I mean, first thing that I thought about was Nagrand, but you know, being in those Nagrand, Dreno Nagrand orc towns, you know, cities, I didn't really get that feel. I don't know why. And I don't remember the video, and I don't remember what was in it. But just seeing Razor Hill, I guess there was some bestiary kind of building. There was some drawbridge, something like that. I don't really remember, but I remember that it kind of gave me a good vibe, good feel. My point is, when you don't need to ruin the old zones. You made the old zones. They are that old zones. But when you make a new expansion and you make new zones, do that with the new zones. You know, make a new Razor Hill somewhere else. Of course, you're not gonna name it Razor Hill, and you're not making new Durota, but you are making a new fantasy, new small little Oak Town fantasy. I don't know if it's doable, if I'm just, you know, fantasizing here, but that's the feeling I got when I saw that video. You know, that's something that is, you know, really hard for me to grasp, that it hasn't been done, or it has, but I didn't get that same feeling before. You know, for example, you are now making a new continent, but I don't know, somehow they can't just, I understand, you know, you want to make it big and you're some big town and fine, but you need to do that. When you make a new zone, make a new Razor Hill and a new Orgrimmar. I mean, I'm just throwing that Orgrimmar in there, but what I mean is, you know, make a small orc town like Razor Hill reimagined. You know, I don't know if I made myself clear. I'm not really sure how and if and why and what, but that's the feeling I got from that video, and I wanted to share that with you, my dear imaginary friends. I think we're gonna break 1 hour mark, and let's see if there's, I guess I did talk about that. Okay, I guess I can say that for the end. Oh, YouTube stream it's still Blood Elf female. So yeah, I saw a stream, and in that stream a streamer said that it's still can't understand. Streamer said that he plays the WoW since the beginning, and he still doesn't understand how Cone of Cold works. And that I found interesting, because I don't either. And you know, stuff like that should be explained. I mean, I guess when you think about it, what are the levels and zones for, if not to take every player by the hand and explain everything to them? And I talked about stuff like this long ago, but I didn't really wanna go into this, but I guess I will now that I have mentioned that. You know, explain everything to players. That's why levels are 4. That's why zones are 4. To, you know, teach your players in game and not point them in some other direction. Make everything clear, how everything works. You know, make it, you know, logical. Don't overdo it. Don't make things too complex. Though, mentioning Psyro and Zico now, there's a clip from Hardcore, and there's that guy that wanted the duel, Magorao, how it's called, and he has 20 something buffs. So stuff like that happened in Classic 2, and I'm not sure if the experiment already happened or not. I'm not sure if I'm remembering things correctly. Did they disable add-ons at the beginning of some raids and dungeons and nobody could do them? If nobody can do a raid or a dungeon without an add-on, and if that hasn't been done, you can check it right now, you know, disable them for a week or two, see what happens. That means you have made things too complex. And you know, if it comes to other stuff as well, I didn't really want to talk about it, but I guess I will. You know, I think things should be simplified. And I mean, okay, I guess I am going into this, but okay, let's make it quick. I've noticed that a while back, for example, when there's some step-by-step guide for something, and there's always some people in the comments saying, what do you mean? You know, I don't understand. For everything that's not the beaten path, people don't get it. And some of you might say, yeah, but you know, a lot of people go the extra mile. Yeah, the extra mile of a beaten path. And you know, I'm guessing, you know, 70% of players are like that. And I don't know, 10 to 20 not even, you know, that. And how many people are really going out there for the grind and the complex stuff? I'm not sure. You be the judge of that. And that's something I wanted to end the stream on, but I guess here we are. Now, is there something else? I'm not gonna bother with it.
A dark wind is blowing.
Yeah. Add-ons are very useful, they are very good, but in some cases they are pretty much botting. They are very useful for auction house, and that can be good, but it's also botting. And for PvE it's also botting, but I don't really blame them because they serve to alleviate and counter the unnecessary complexity. You know, floor is lava, lasers, air is poison, and then the guy that made it can't clear the trash. I'm having issues with jumping through fire hoops. That's why I enjoy more PvP, like I mentioned before. There, you know, that guy is either better than you, or you are better than him, or he has better gear and stuff like that, but you know, he doesn't give you tasks to perform. There was something else I forgot. Yeah, speaking of which, I had until recently I had my scuffed UI links in the description, but from now on I'm reverting to having, now it's called Undermine Exchange, so auction house site that you might find pretty useful. So you have auction house data from all the auction houses on NA and EU. You just pick the server and you can check the prices and all of the stuff you want. And the only add-on I use is I guess it's has the same name now, Undermine Exchange, that gives you the prices, which is pretty nice. I had some issues before, but I found a way, and it's very useful. And I am, of course, don't have any connections to it, but it's something very useful and very nice, and it's free. I mean, the site is, the add-on, I don't know how that works, if it's connected with those add-on UI or what, but I will see how and what if I decide to. I didn't really use it for ages now, and if I do decide, then I'll check the link and stuff and maybe put that link in there as well. And with that,
See you soon. Real soon.